one guy that has been able to uncork the ball late in the game and seemingly get away with it every single time and find a way to win has been, and as a Bears fan, I got to roll my eyes, this golden rookie, Jaden Daniels, and the Commanders. Mike was on them from the beginning. Mike had him picked to go to the
They called me
playoffs.
crazy. They called me crazy.
That was one of our original TikToks that got posted and got panned by the TikTok community. Was Mike's pick of the Commanders being a sneaky playoff team.
Let's see what those
Fast
savages
forward,
are saying now. Let's see what those savages are saying now.
Yeah, right. That's I got to respect that pick. But I could see it being the end of the line. They're facing a rematch here, going back to Tampa Bay as they did earlier this season, with their rookie quarterback to go up against another team. You can't discount experience, right, in the playoffs. You can't discount having been there and having gone through the fire. And this Buccaneers team has done just that. You've still got guys from that Tom Brady squad, that Super Bowl winning team that are still there. And Todd Bowles is still calling the plays on the defensive end. Liam Cohen has been one of the best offensive minds, a top candidate for a couple of coaching jobs this year. So we'll see. I think that I do have the Buccaneers winning this game. I think they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL at this point. The Commanders have been a great story, but I think they're still finding their footing as a team in the NFL, or as a contender, I should say, in the NFL. So we'll see. One thing that I'm really looking forward to is Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore. One of the best rivalries, most heated wide receiver versus cornerback rivalries in the NFL. So I'm going to be keyed in on that matchup all game. What do you think, Mike?
I love it. I think, that's much watched TV. I mean, shout out to Evan Peters, who is the GM for the Commanders. Making the trade, like, that was just, I mean, you talk about sticking a thorn in the side of just bringing in Marshawn Lattimore to face Mike Evans in a playoff game. It's going to be cinema. It is going to be cinema, and I cannot wait to see it. In terms of, the guy had 2 suspensions over the years just off of facing Mike Evans, just of what happens. Do you think, here's my question to you guys. I mean, a playoff game, I don't think Mike Evans gets rattled. I think he's had a fantastic year, obviously. I mean, he literally won himself the incentive off Baker Mayfield, being able to hit him on a slant route, to get his receptions and yards, targets incentive. But here's where I think if you flip the script on how it has been historically, Mike Evans is going to get his touches. Mike Evans is going to, he'll do his thing. My X factor for the Bucs in this game, how you win this, is Jalen McMillan. I think he's come along. I mean, you're talking 5 touchdowns in the last 6 games that they've played. Turned the team on. Shout out to Bucky Irving because he's played fantastic. Their offensive line has come into form. Todd Bowles has the defense firing on all cylinders. And those are Todd Bowles, rookie quarterback. That's going to be an issue. I shout out to Jaden Daniels. They have played fantastic this year. If Baker Mayfield doesn't turn the ball over, Jalen McMillan is going to get his touches. The Buccaneers are 3-point favorites right now. I love Mike Evans to score. I love the Bucs -3. And I think if Marshawn Lattimore is going to cover Evans in the playoffs, I mean, the tensions are going to be high. I'll say it now. I think there will be a silly penalty that will cost them the game. I think there will be something that happens that is just out of the box and will move the ball 20 yards. You give it Bucky Irving, Rashad White. Bucky Irving, Rashad White. Give me Mike Evans. And shout out Kate Otten as well. I think there's when you go offensive side of the ball, Baker Mayfield has not turned the ball over. Neither has really Jaden Daniels. But I think against a Todd Bowles defense in his first playoff game, I mean, give me the Bucks at home. Tampa's going to be flying. You know they're going to start drinking Coors Lights at about 8 a.m. I mean, they're there. Like it's not going to happen. I think Mike Evans go his over receiving yard, or actually go his over receptions. He's going to be targeted. This is where Baker Mayfield thrived, has been targeting the guys that are go to. And you know what has become go to? Jalen McMillan, Mike Evans. And then mix in Bucky Irving. If you get that offensive line pushing forward against what I think is not the Commanders' defense has had questions all year. And it started on the defensive line side of the ball. I mean that's I think that's going to be the X factor in it. Is if Baker Mayfield limits turnovers, I don't think he's going to turn the ball over at all. I mm, there's a part of me. There is a part of me. If it's not the Eagles, it's the Bucks that is going to win this Super Bowl.
Wow.
Win the Super Bowl. Not even make it. So you think the Super Bowl is coming out of the NFC?
Absolutely.
Well, Mike, I'm about to throw some cold water on top of that theory.
Here it comes. All right, Alex Jones.
All right. So this is no discredit to the season Tampa's had. But you just mentioned Todd Bowles a lot. You mentioned their defense against a rookie quarterback. I'll give Tampa a little bit of credit. Against the run, they are very stout. They're top 10 in the league against the run. However, over the course of this entire season, Tampa, against the pass, ranks 28th in the league in passing giving up. So, I mean, you talked about the matchup between Evans and Lattimore. I'm thinking more the matchup of Terry McLaurin versus the Bucs secondary and what Jaden Daniels been able to do throwing the football. I think he's going to have some success. I think that's baked into the total. The total's at 50.5. So points are to be expected in this one. So I don't think it's going to be as dominant as you think for Tampa, at least on the defensive side of the ball. I do think Washington will have some success throwing it. I also do think Tampa will have some success throwing it. Just based off the Commanders, they play man at the 5th highest rate in the league. And Baker Mayfield is 5th in EPA against man coverage. So hopefully Dan Quinn can scheme something different. And Baker has struggled a little bit in zone. We've seen him get confused at times throughout the course of the year, force the ball into windows with either a linebacker or a DB dropping underneath. It'll be interesting to see that play out. Hopefully there's some scheme towards that because I think if the Commanders do come out and play man, I think Baker will have some success. If they don't and they change things up and go a little bit zone looks, I could see a fighting chance here for the Commanders, especially if they have success throwing the ball against what is a weaker secondary in the NFL. Now that I'm baking in the fact that Jay Daniels will be doing that without a run game because Tampa is stout against the run. But I watched the same thing play out against Philly when the Commanders went into Philly a couple weeks ago, and that was the entire Jaden Daniels show. No run game to speak of, and he still got the job done against what we think is one of the best defenses in the NFL. So I don't know. I'm not gun ho on Tampa this week. I'm leaning towards the Commanders +3. I think the Commanders are a better football team on paper than the Bucks are. And I love the Bucks offense. I think the Bucks offense is awesome, but look, this is going to be a high variance game. I think there's going to be points, and it's going to come down to probably what I think is the more talented player, more talented quarterback. And I love Baker Mayfield, love him to death. But Jane Daniels is a dog. He's been a dog all year, and it's going to be fun to watch either way. But I'm leaning towards the Commanders this week, +3. And if it gets out to 3.5, I think I'm going to wait to bet this thing because I think there will be some Bucks money that comes in. If it gets out to 3.5, I will bet the Commanders at 3.5. So, but yeah, it'll be a fun game.
It's difficult. It's also just we got to keep in mind on the Commanders side, it's difficult to beat a team, especially one that's out of your division, through 8 quarters, to beat them twice in a row. Which would be what the Buccaneers are doing, playing against a great. We got to give them their flowers. They're a great team, and a great roster that they've been able to kind of put together pretty quickly here under Dan Quinn and Peters, as you said. But I think it's just got to be pointed out that once again, the last time they faced each other, I think it was it week 1 or 2? I think it might have been week 2 that the Commanders went to Tampa to face the Bucks. Or was that week 1?
Week 1.
So I mean,
I think Tampa played the Lions week 2.
They did.
Okay, yeah, right, that's right. So then, so it was week 1. So it was Jaden Daniels' debut. It's as much as I want to hold that against him in losing that game. It's his debut game as a rookie. The expectations weren't high for the Commanders at that point. I think this is a whole new team. We're seeing it again after last year. We did see, though. I hate to bring it up, Turtle, but when C.J. Stroud faced the Ravens week 1, and then it all came full circle in disastrous fashion.
The thing is, though, I don't think this Bucks team is John Harbaugh, and I don't think Baker Mayfield's Lamar Jackson. So if this was, let's just say they played. Let's just say they played Detroit. Let's say the Commanders played Detroit week 1, and they had to come back around. Let's just say Detroit was the 2 seed theoretically, and they had to come back and play Detroit again. I'd be with you, but I just don't think the Bucks are that team to pull off a Baltimore Ravens-esque domination for 8 quarters. I'm not trying to discredit the Bucks because I like their roster. I like Baker May. I mean, I love that offense. I just think that it's chalking this up as a Bucks win is it seems futile just because to me they're even teams and I'm getting 3 points and that's just how I look at it.
My thing is I think you're going up against a Todd Bowles defense that's going to bring the pressure in a playoff game against a rookie QB. I mean, it's going to be every single play that he is going to have dudes in his face. I think it's no holds bar. I think Todd Bowles empties the clip on Jaden Daniels and forces him out of the pocket, and that's you're going to put Vita Vea, Lavonte David just throwing dudes around. Coming up, just going. I think the pressure is going to be too. I think the pressure is going to be too much. I think they're going to be able to stifle Commanders' drives in that sense, and I think Baker Mayfield has a little bit more acumen as a quarterback. Having been in the league however many more years than a rookie Jaden Daniels. They've played great. There is nothing to take away from the Commanders. I think this is a spot where Todd Bowles has been coaching this team. Dan Quinn is in his first year. Boom. I think they put the hammer down on Jaden Daniels, and that's what's gonna that will stifle them. Because where does the big play? Where do the big plays come if you blow up the line? And I think
I
that's
feel like
every
Kingsbury's been
single
the guy.
play.
I'll push back.
He's been the guy with all the
because
answers, though.
I think Jaden has been unreal at avoiding sacks and avoiding pressures and making plays out of nothing. Like he doesn't take sacks, he doesn't turn the ball over. The offensive line is, I mean, I think the key X factors for their offensive line are Andrew Wiley, the right tackle, and Nick Allegretti, the left guard. They are really average, if not below average, players at their position. They haven't been exceptional all year. Sam Cosmi is a really good player, but he hasn't had the best year. So the offensive line has not been the issue. I think to me, it's come down to Jaden not having a real number 2 receiver because Terry is going to make plays. Terry McLaurin makes plays every game. I think the fact that Zach Ertz is probably the second best receiver on this team is the issue. Noah Brown is likely out for the year, so I doubt we see him this week. And he's been their number 2 all year, and he got cut by the Texans earlier at the beginning of the season. So ultimately, I think they're just missing another wide receiver 2. And against this great run defense in Tampa Bay, I think Brian Robinson's going to have a tougher time than usual, which is why I would give Tampa Bay the nod. But I don't think Jaden's going to have a tough time at all moving the ball down the field. Winfield has been banged up all year, Antoine. So I don't know how much you can rely on him to really dominate this game. And like I said, Terry makes plays. I would shy away from taking any of these teams. I think it's more of a pick 'em than Tampa Bay favored by 2.5 or 3.
But
yeah, that's exactly my point, Christian. I'm with you on that. They're even teams, but you're getting 3 points. I mean, that's my handicap, and I'm with you there, Christian. Like it's a relative thing. Like it's I'm not saying that the Commanders are going to come out and wipe the floor with them. I'm just saying like I think I would push the brakes on all the Tampa love. Just because I do think the Commanders are going to have success
when they played a healthy Jalen Hurts last year, it was 32-9. You have Troyan Shoyinka.
I don't know if he was fully healthy, and there were way more problems with that Philly team last year than I think was led on to believe. But
I'll say to your point, Mike. To your point,
leave it. Would you leave it in the hand of a running back if they're able to, if they're going to be able to get the pressure on Jaden Daniels, and Todd Bowles is going to blitz the absolute.
He doesn't take sacks though, Mike.
Boom out of him.
Jaden never takes sacks.
Okay, I mean,
they're going to try.
I legitimately think. I legitimately think there's going to be a lot of plays that's going to be 5-on-1 against Jaden Daniels, and you're just going to. There's going to be. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm saying what I think Todd Bowles is probably going to do, and that's a philosophy. Get the pressure on the quarterback. He's a rookie in his first game in the playoffs. You like the over?
I do. I think if you do
take it. Take the over.
I like the over as well.
Take him.
If you blitz him, he's going to throw a deep ball to Terry Mack. That's what happens every time. I mean, game's too easy for him.
John McCollum against Terry. I mean, just I just think there's more experience on the Tampa side of the ball.
Mike, here's the numbers for the Commanders when blitzed.
And do you win games by numbers?
When blitzed, the Commanders, some will make the numbers can tell a story. I mean, this is the Commanders when blitzed, 64.2 completion percentage, 1,354 yards, 7.7 yards per attempt, and 12 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. That's pretty good when blitzed.
Okay.
So
Terry Mack, man. Terry Mack and
I think, I think we're not talking enough about how Kingsbury has just made it so easy for Jaden Daniels all year. He's given the playbook
sure.
on how to implement
run game.
this.
They have a run
No,
game.
I mean, and I'm not saying the run game as well. Yeah, you got a run game, but just being able to simplify the offense from the beginning to then build on that to now.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're firing on all cylinders, winning big games, and they're in the playoffs. And this is a completely different offense. I think that needs to be considered as well before we go too far into thinking about this rematch. This is a totally new offense on the Commander's side too. I mean, it's a more complete offense.
Normally Cliff Kingsbury falls off at this point.
Last 3 games, 10 pressures. Yaya Diaby has almost 3 sacks.
Diaby's the guy. I want
exactly. And I think you put that up against a rookie quarterback, and it just.
But he's not your average rookie, though, right? I mean, he's not
your average rookie. Yes, I agree.
He's 24.
Let's grade the player, not the year, and the player's pretty damn good.
I love the over. I love the over.
I love the Buccaneers in this game at home.
I like this crossfire. I guess me and Christian, are you on my side with the Commanders?
I love the over. I think they'll put up points.
I
just think the Bucs are gonna win.
I'm gonna take the Bucs.
There we go. Now we're
there we go. There we go. We took the long route.
Fine,
we took the 10-minute run route.
I think it's gonna be way too close to take any points. If it's right now, it's
3. 3's the number.
3's the number.
I would take Washington plus 3 just because I get the points.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking Washington to win, but I'm taking them to cover 3. Yeah,
exactly. So I'll take the cover. Yeah, if you give me the points, we could do that.
So can we break it down? You're gonna take Jaden Daniels' ability to make plays outside of the pocket when the pressure comes against what is going to be a relentless blitz package. Because
listen. If they blitz, it is going to be a go ball to Terry Mack, and Terry is going to catch it for 50+ yards.
I think you missed the stats that I just read about how good they are. It's 7.7 yards per attempt and 12 touchdowns versus 3 picks versus the blitz.
That's what they do.
They're good against the blitz.
But
if Todd Bowles wants to blitz, let him. Let Todd Bowles blitz. I will take Jaden Daniels.
Is he going to? Will he tear them apart? Do you think it's a big win?
No, I'm taking them plus the points, but I think the Commanders are going to have success throwing the football, and I think there will be points, and I'm taking the Commanders plus 3.
28. It's going to be like 25-28 something.
Yeah.
Give me the Bucs right there. Give me the Bucs.
Yeah, take them. Lay the 3 with the Bucs. Go
right
ahead.
I'm not laying any points. But I will take the Bucs.
No, you're already in that crew.
Wolf Blitzer over here. On to the next question.
I'm going to take the money line actually of Buccaneers. I don't know about all this betting talk, but I do think the Buccaneers will beat them. And another team, if I can transition,